wild that we just have like these little wild animals just snuggling up on our laps?
I love it.
I do too.
It's the best thing. Okay.
So cute.
Speaking
Oh
of
man.
wild animals.
Segue into hello and welcome to another episode of Primordial Threads. I'm Hannah.
I'm Anna, and we kind of have a guest, Mishka, today. She's in my lap, but my camera angle doesn't show her fully, but I
Oh,
have a
she's
cat.
there. There's a
She's
little
there.
there's a little ear. You'll see it
Yeah.
from time to time.
She's a little Scorpio moon, so it's pretty apt for her to be here for us
Oh,
to
I
talk
love
about
that.
Mars.
Exactly. Yes, we are here with another mini-sode today, talking about what the planets even do. And we are talking about Mars, our first malefic episode.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, we just finished the Venus one, which was our first benefic, and then we move into Mars, which is our little red planet. People are trying to colonize it, and I don't think that'll go well because it's literally one of the bad guys.
I feel like the planet's like, I will kill you
I
if
will
you
kill
touch
all.
me.
Literally. Oh, yeah. Mars is known, in mythology and everything as the god of war.
Mhm.
So it's not surprising that it has the title of the lesser malefic, Saturn being the greater malefic.
Mhm.
Um,
And it's good to note that the lesser malefic and benefic are both on the night sect, right? Like they're of the night, and then the greater benefic and
greater
malefic
malefic.
are of the day sect. So,
I always think that's interesting.
mhm.
Interesting time to be doing a Mars episode. We have
Yeah,
Mars retrograde in Gemini right now. Gosh, and
Mars
it's going
is
to be
feral.
Mars is feral as hell right now.
Mhm.
Um, and it's going to be retrograde until, gosh,
January
January.
12th.
Oh, we have a date, ladies and gents.
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah. So we are in a like 8-month Mars and Gemini stint. So,
Mhm. And I think December 7th is going to be kind of the zenith of it because that's when there is the exact opposition.
mhm.
So,
Yes, the
watch out.
Sun is currently in Scorpio, chilling with Venus and Mercury, but they're all about to move into Sag and start that opposition to Mars. So,
Mhm.
ooh, so what does Mars even do, Anna?
Well, Mars rolls over screaming. It roll that's my favorite part. It's like I love always mentioning that because I just think it's hilarious.
Mars rules screams.
Yes.
I
Screams,
feel like Mars
battle
rules haunted
cries,
houses.
probably.
Definitely.
And then it also rolls over protection, which is one of the happier significations that he has. And then just general like severing and the
Mhm,
difficult connections, the difficult conversations that we have to have with people. That's kind
mm.
of what I like to think of it as.
Yeah, definitely that makes sense in terms of I see Mars as a boundary setter.
Mhm.
I see Mars as a strategizer and a survivor. Like that is kind of like I see Mars as this animal instinct of survival, where it's like I'm gonna do whatever I have to do here in order to set myself up. And sometimes it does mean, severing relationships or boundaries or um, stuff like that. Similar to Saturn, I feel like Saturn definitely has a part in that, but I think we see that
Mhm.
commonly with both the malefics and the benefics that they share certain significations, but
Yeah.
just kind of take different approaches. Mars is a bit more of a active reactive energy,
Mhm.
whereas Saturn is a more like long haul, let's plan this out over time and
Mhm.
make goals and steps, whereas Mars is like, I'm going to be the one doing this things, doing the
Yeah.
steps.
Well, Saturn like adds slowness wherever it is. So I think
Yes.
that the processes that it sets up are inherently slower, or like it's almost like icing someone out instead of just
Mm.
cutting someone off, you know?
hmm Kitty friend. Oh,
Hi, Mishka. She's happy.
she's petting your face.
She does that. She used to nibble my neck whenever she was a little kitten.
Oh my
It was the
God.
cutest thing.
That is
Um,
adorable.
but anyways, what was I saying, Mishka? You distracted me, bud. I don't know where I was going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I think in the natal chart, Mars shows us where we were kind of talking about with Venus. Venus kind of shows you what you value and what you feel is worth fighting for.
Hmm.
Mars will show you how you're going to fight for that thing and the strategies and the way you're going to go about it.
Hmm. I also think that it adds like a little bit of friction wherever it is, you
Mm.
know?
Hmm.
So like I see people with like Mars in the seventh house, you know, they just like generally kind of struggle to relate with other people.
Hmm.
It's kind of one of those things like there are ways to mitigate it, you know,
Hmm.
but it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, it can kind of cut you off from that area of your life. You may have to do a little bit more work, not feeling as reactive in that area and letting
Mhm.
yourself feel into it more. I kind of feel like Venus and Mars are a yin and yang kind of a situation where,
Mhm.
um, where Venus feels, Mars acts, and they don't
Yeah,
necessarily
line up.
sometimes, yeah, exactly. Well, because even um in terms of dignity, where is Mars in fall and detriment? Isn't that in Libra and Taurus? Am I crazy?
The sun is in fall in Libra. Let me think. Okay, so this is a fun, quick learning tool. Detriment and
Yes.
domicile are always going to be opposite each other. So
Okay.
Mars is in domicile in Scorpio and in Aries, so
Uh-huh.
it's going to be in detriment in Taurus
Taurus and
and
Libra.
Libra. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought so. So maybe it's just like the
sorry.
sun is in fall in Libra and then Mars is in detriment in Libra.
Hmm.
There we
And
go.
then Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and then it
Yes.
is in fall in Cancer.
Oh, I see, I see. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so, in those kinds of like relational signs, Mars isn't, Mars brings a sense of discord to it. We just had Mars and Taurus for a while, and there was a lot of disruptions in terms of, I mean, we had the Uranus, Mars, and Rahu conjunction in Taurus in
Yeah.
August, and that brought a lot of disruptions to things, very Taurus themes like supply chains and food and um, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
Mars definitely brings disruptions, like we said, kind of cutting off from
Mhm.
things. Like for me, I have I have such a fun malefic situation in my chart. Um, I have Mars and Saturn in an opposition in Virgo and Pisces. So
Good
Mars
stuff.
is in my Virgo fifth house. Oh yeah. And it's interesting because while I am a musician and a creator and everything, I have to like work really hard to let myself be present and comfortable creating
Mhm.
like out loud and with other people because I feel, and this is such a Virgo thing, I have to be so perfect. So like I have to have all of the little ducks in a row perfectly. It's
Mhm.
hard to just let myself go into a more Venusian, like relaxed, feeling it out
Mhm.
state in that kind of a fifth house environment. I feel a lot more, Mars can be a bit of a drill sergeant, a bit of a like, go, 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 just do it this way, do it the right way, especially in
Yeah.
Virgo.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense because, you know, like Mars wants to solve problems, and the fifth
Yes.
house doesn't necessarily like present any problems for Mars to deal with. So it's
Hmm.
like this weird, like anxious energy where he's just kind of like, what am I supposed to do here, guys? Like,
Hmm.
am I supposed to just have a good time?
What? What do you mean?
So that pulls into like Mars loves being in the sixth house.
Yes.
So it finds its joy and it has its anti-joy in the 12th house.
Mm,
And so, you know, like Mars wants to do the daily grind, it wants to put in the work,
yep.
and it does not want to be like isolated and have to sit and just like figure out the problem
Yeah.
in its own little space.
Yes.
Um, Another thing that also came up for me, just from you talking about Mars and Taurus earlier, is that I don't necessarily think that Mars is inept in Taurus.
Hmm.
Because you'll find like Austin Coppock has talked about this a lot, where there's a lot of fighters that have Mars and Taurus, but
Oh
they're
yeah.
like the brick shit house fighters, where they don't
Yes.
necessarily have like, oh my God, like the skill is just immaculate, you know, that's like
Hmm.
that's not what you're commenting on with them. It's just the sheer like size and
Yes.
strength of them, which it's like, okay, the bull.
Yes. Exactly. No, that makes a lot of sense. Mars, like we said, it shows you. like you just kind of demonstrated like how you fight. Like in Taurus, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It is unmoving, it is grounded, it is bulky, and when Mars is there, you're
Hmm.
going to be hitting real hard.
Oh
Whereas
yeah.
with Mars in a sign like Gemini, a mutable air sign, the fighting is going to be a lot more quick, back and forth, like
Hmm.
dodging, sliding, kind of I think of like an acrobat almost, that
Yeah.
kind of a fighting style.
Hmm.
And in Cancer, you might be like fighting with emotions. You may be using um, kind of more of a guttural
Hmm.
conflicts are like you're relying on those deep emotions your body feels and moving that
Yeah,
way. So,
I
which
agree.
Mars doesn't always do well with.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that there's like a strategist part to Mars as well that people don't give
Yes,
credit for. I don't think it's
100%.
like this big lumbering idiot that just is gonna like
No.
burn all of the doors down, like it can be,
That would
but
the burning the doors down feels like cardinal fire Aries,
yeah.
because it has like we've got the cardinal fire Aries and then we have fixed water Scorpio, like
Hmm.
that Scorpio, oh my
That's the
God, hello
strategist.
strategist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Mars and Scorpio is going to sit there and it is going to observe its enemy and it's going to become friends with its enemy. And then it's going to be like, okay, now I'm going to destroy you from the inside out.
Hmm.
Feels more like
Exactly.
poison versus like hurting
Darts.
someone with, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Aries is throwing darts. Scorpio is like poisoning an organization from the inside out
Yeah.
slowly.
And it will take down every part of it. Whereas Aries might just like hit the big guys.
Yeah.
But Scorpio's like, I am going to tear you from the basest part of yourself.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, no, I think it's so interesting too that and I love juxtaposing Venus and Mars because Venus has rulership in an earth and an air sign,
Hmm.
whereas Mars has rulership in a water and a fire sign. And the water and fire is so much more volatile, whereas air and earth is a lot more grounded and logical, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Mars is just kind of like taking that action, like reaction. I think reactivity is a good
Yeah,
that
that's a
one
good
thing that
Mars
it
word.
does. Yeah, it reacts.
Something that I think is really interesting though is whenever you get Mars and Venus together in a natal chart, it's like charisma. And I think that's so interesting that you have to be able to have the charm, but also the action to like back up. And like that's what makes somebody
Mhm.
charismatic.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point.
So in a natal chart, like another thing that I think it can do is that, what was that? Oh, okay.
It was Mars. Spooky.
I was like, do we have a ghost? I don't know. It's like I go off and on of like if we have a spirit in here or not. Maybe. I don't know. But Mars in a natal chart, it can also like burn up whatever it's touching. So, there might be like a little bit of a burning effect whenever you see it like in the house that's in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is the malefic, so it does bring things that are less comfortable.
Hmm.
Um, Especially if you're a day chart, you have your sun above the
Hmm. The horizon
the
line.
horizon line. Thank you.
Mhm. If
Brain,
it's above
words,
the
stop.
ascendant. No, no, you're good.
Yeah, but if you're a day chart, then Mars will be kind of the more challenging malefic for you. So its placement may show where you encounter more difficulty. Things become more challenging. The conflicts are harder to solve. But I
Mhm.
think through paying attention and allowing yourself to think through the steps and solve the problems in like a active Martian way can be a really good catalyst for growth and healing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mars is there to like push you in the uncomfortable ways in order to make you grow. And I think
Yeah.
that for both of the malefics, I think it's just Mars is like, I'm going to throw you into the pool and you're going to learn how to swim,
Yeah,
you know? And it's like,
absolutely.
okay,
Trial
you're
by
gonna,
fire.
yeah, yeah, literally. You're gonna come out of it with a lot of knowledge, but like, damn, was it
And maybe some
scary?
trauma, just a little
Yeah.
bit. But that'll make you
But,
better too, because then you'll have to solve that over at long term and that Saturn take over
mhm.
now.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess one final signification that comes to mind for me is entrepreneurship. entrepreneurs are ruled by Mars. So like having that spirit where you are willing to like put everything on the line because you believe in something and like you
Yeah.
want to make it happen and you're willing to put in the daily grind that it takes in
Yeah.
order to make something like that pay off.
Yeah, definitely with that sixth house, joy. Um, Mars is uniquely empowered that way. I also see Mars being strong in like athletes because of all of the physical action and energy that it utilizes or exudes.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely important.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys like hear us talking about how like, oh, this planet should be really hard for you, but then and you are a day chart and you're like, but I don't feel it, check if it's being mitigated because, you know,
Mhm.
like sometimes if something's supposed to be really good or it's supposed to be really bad, then you could just be really blessed and have it mitigated so where you don't notice it as much.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I'm a night chart, so Saturn's my hardest planet. It's in Pisces, which is ruled by my Jupiter and Sagittarius. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty nice little boost on that one. So you may have something similar to that going on in your chart as well.
Yep. And my Mars is enclosed by the benefics, so I don't notice it very
As
much.
much. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, no, as usual, these are just what the planets do on their own, but remember that they're always going to be present with other planets in
Mhm.
signs that are ruled potentially by other planets. So you'll have to always consider the entire chart when we're
Yeah, talking
delineating
about
like
it.
that. But
But
hope
damn, well,
this has
you
been
know,
helpful.
through transits, those transits will tell you, man.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, right now with Mars and Gemini, the communication has been, I think it's hilarious. Isn't Twitter a natal Mars and Gemini?
Yeah.
So this is, and now it's just collapsing, and it's like, well,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
It's kind of like the astrology is astrologying.
Oh, it sure is. It sure has been lately. So
Also, I'd just like to say she looks so ridiculous right now. It's funny. These planets that have their joys in certain houses, it will not feel like a joy for it to go through those houses sometimes.
this is a fact.
So,
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, the astrology do be astrologying, you guys. So take care of yourselves, drink water, take a nap. Not like me today, though, when I didn't plan to, and now don't know what to do with myself.
it's okay.
Be a little bit more Martian, strategize that a bit more
Strategize your stuff.
than
Yeah.
just leaning into the Venusian side of like, I will sleep now. Um, but yeah, I think that's about wraps it up for us today with Mars.
Yeah, I think that I feel complete.
Hallelujah. All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. I just said